Good morning, students. Students, I Anil Kumar Swami welcome you to the video sessions or the online Gyanmati online classes. Students, today we will study geography. You know that we have already completed the section civics. The last few chapters were rural administration, urban administration, and the last chapter in the civics was the rural and urban livelihoods. Students, that was all about civics. Now we have the rest two sections. The first one is geography and the second one is history. Students, then in geography section we will study today the realms of the earth. This is chapter number 5, realms of the earth. Realms means, students, you can say the parts and how the different parts of our earth is divided. Okay, then let us come to the chapter. Before this, students, we have skipped the chapter number 4, that is maps. In the first chapter you have studied that the earth is the only planet which has life. Students, it is true that earth is the only planet. It is also said that it is a unique planet. It is the only blue. It is also called as the blue planet because it has life surviving, life sustaining elements which allow us to survive, and therefore the other planets don't have life. It consists of 3 essential elements, that is land, water and air. All the 3 components of the environment meet, overlap and interact with one another. The solid portion of the earth is called the lithosphere. Students, there are 3 portions of the earth. So that I am writing here, students. The first one is 3 spheres, I can say. Lithosphere, hydrosphere, third one is, students, atmosphere, and it is combinedly called as the biosphere. Students, the solid portion of the earth is called lithosphere, while the gaseous layers surrounding us or the air enveloping us is called hydrosphere, which comprises water in its all forms. Then, students, a narrow zone where we find land and air and water together is called the biosphere. It contains all forms of life. Each of them has been detailedly described in this chapter. Students, I forgot to describe about. So I have told you about hydrosphere and atmosphere. Combined, it is called the biosphere. Then, students, we will study all the 3 spheres in detail. The first one is lithosphere. So let me write here. Students, lithosphere is the land surface in which we live, and that is the solid part of the earth. The lithosphere is the word lithosphere has been taken from the Greek word lithos, meaning rocky. Students, here the word lithos means rocky. Is the upper crust of the surface of the earth. It consists of rock materials. Then, students, this land portion of the earth is in large land masses known as continents, generally separated by oceans. Students, you know that 71% of the earth is covered with water. It may be oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, ponds, means water bodies. Altogether it is known as water bodies. 71% water, 29% only land. That is the lithosphere. the level of seawater remains constant or same everywhere. Yes, students, it is true. The level of seawater, have you seen the level of seawater increasing? No. Is there any flood you have seen in seas? No. We can see in rivers. Elevation of land is measured from the sea level, therefore, which is considered to be zero. Lithosphere consists of 7 continents. Yes, students, this is very interesting topic, that lithosphere contains 7 continents, or we have 7 continents in the world. So, what are the, students? Let us start from Asia, Africa, Australia, then students, what can be the name of the other 4? And Antarctica is also a continent. It may be no persons, no inhabitants there. Europe, North America, South America. Okay, friends. Then there are 7 continents, and these are the 7 continents. What are they, students? Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Okay, students. Sorry, students, a small mistake I have done. This is the. And students, our India lies in Asia, or we are the citizens of the Asian continent. Students, then we will study all the continents in detail. So first of all is Asia. Students, we must know that Asia is the largest and most populous of all the continents, because students, India and China, we know they are neighbors. They are situated in Asia. Most of the populous countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, Indonesia, India, China, they all are situated in Asia. It lies in the eastern hemisphere. Asia has the highest mountain ranges in the world. Some of the ancient river valley civilizations of the world flourished here on the banks of Tiger Euphrates. They are the river names in Iraq, river Huanghe in China, Indus, Saraswati river in India and Pakistan. All the major religions of the world originated in Asia. Asia is typically a very significant continent, because significant place I can say, because all the earlier civilizations survived here. They have started here to flourish, and all the major religions of the world have started beginning from here. Okay, then we'll move to the next one, Europe. Students, Europe and Asia are continuous land masses separated only by the Ural Mountains. Students, they both are separated by Ural Mountains. Okay. Then they are sometimes considered as one single continent known as Eurasia. They both are called combinedly Eurasia. Okay. These continents boast of a culture and civilization existing from ancient times. Greek civilization is one of the most oldest civilizations of the world. It is situated in Greece. Europe is the world's second smallest continent in terms of area. It is the third most populous continent. One more thing, students, there was a time when Europe was very underdeveloped. I can say backward. But nowadays Europe is the most developed continent of the world. Then students, the next one is Africa. Africa. Students, Africa is also known as the dark continent because many hectares of jungles are there. They are very dense. Africa is the second largest continent, next only to Asia. The equator cuts Africa almost through the middle of, so that its northern part lies in the northern hemisphere. Friends, listen. Africa is a continent where equator passes through in the middle of the continent. Therefore, the northern part of Africa is students the third continent, that is Africa. As I have told you that it is the second largest continent, next only to Asia. The equator cuts Africa almost through the middle of the continent. Therefore, the northern part of Africa is situated in the northern hemisphere. The southern part of Africa is situated in the southern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn also pass through Africa. And most of this continent lies in the tropical zone. World's largest hot desert, that is the Sahara Desert, is situated in Africa. Students, due to the presence of equator in the middle of the continent, it is quite hot. Some places, like countries like Libya, they have more than 50 degrees Celsius sometimes in the summer season. Therefore, most of the people, you can see, they are black people, and it is also known as the dark continent because lots of forests are present there. Students, then next is North America. North America continent stretches from Arctic region with zero temperatures in the north to the tropical region in the south. Students, it's a very you can say a continent having long distances. The Pacific Ocean lies to its west and Atlantic Ocean to its east. It is connected to South America with the help of Panama Canal. Students, there are two continents, that are the North America and South America. So this is connected to South America by Panama Canal. Okay. South America is both temperate and tropical. The vast Amazon and its tributaries with dense equatorial forests spread over most of the northern part. The world's longest mountain chain, that is the Andes mountain, runs through north to south in South America. Then students, there is an island continent that is called the Australia. Students, do you know the meaning of island? A landmass covered by water on all its sides is called an island. So Australia is such type of continent. The island continent of Australia is the smallest. It is true. The sixth is the Australia. It is the smallest continent. It lies to the southeast of Asia, entirely in the southern hemisphere. It is the largest landmass in the Pacific. Students, you will see in the Pacific Ocean, it is the largest landmass and it is the smallest continent. Then students, the last one is Antarctica. The last one is Antarctica. It lies far away from all the other landforms of the earth. Around the south, the pole land remains frozen throughout the year. It is larger than the combined area of Europe and Australia. It is the only continent without any permanent human population. No inhabitants are present there. Many countries have research stations in Antarctica. India has two research stations, that is called the Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Students, in Antarctica, most of the countries have set up research stations for different types of research in that country, which is frozen throughout the year. So here two research stations, that is called the Maitri Dakshin Gangotri. These are the two research stations set up by India in Antarctica. Students, then now we move to hydrosphere. After the land mass study, we will study about hydrosphere, which the hydrosphere consists of water in all forms. So what can it be? The Earth is known as the blue planet due to the presence of water. About 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and rest of this is land. Means 71% water and 29% land, which I have told you few minutes ago. The presence of water distinguishes it from all other planets. The oceans, the seas, the lakes, the rivers, the ponds, glaciers, underground water, water vapor, all make up the construction of the hydrosphere. Then it is the main basis of life. The water level may be different on different levels, but water is the most essential element for survival of human beings on Earth. The hydrosphere is always in motion in reverse, because the water doesn't stay at one place, they always in a motion, they always move from one place to another. And fresh water, the most important thing, students, fresh water is only 0.03% in the total available water on the surface of the earth. Look, 71% of water is there on earth, but from that 71%, only 0.03 means just it's not 1% even. There is fresh water on earth. Then students, the next subtopic in your chapter is water cycle. What is that? That is the water cycle. So, what is water cycle, students? As the atmosphere absorbs the heat and light received from the sun, it keeps the earth warm. Due to the warm temperature, the water gets evaporated from the earth. This is the evaporation and condensation process. Water evaporates from rivers, seas and oceans to form water vapor. The water vapor condenses to form clouds and leads to all forms of precipitation. That is, students, what are the precipitation? Different form of precipitation is rainfall, hail, snowfall. So this is the process of evaporation. So, students, what happens? The earth receives sun and light from the sun, and the sun makes the water heat, and it becomes water vapor. It evaporates and goes to the upside, the sky, to become clouds, and it condenses and it falls down again in the form of precipitation, different types of precipitations. Okay, then the next topic here is oceans. What are oceans? We'll study them. Oceans are the largest bodies of water, and all of them are salty because of the rivers dissolving minerals from rocks. Oceans water moves in the form of waves, tides and currents. The oceans absorb 90% of the insolation. Then the oceans are a continuous body, which is why the level of water in them remains the same. There is never flooded, never goes down. The temperature of water is different at different places on the surface of the oceans. Water bodies near the equator are warm. Water bodies near the poles are cold enough to remain frozen throughout the year. Students, some parts of the oceans, they may be very frozen, may be very cold, may be very hot. So it depends upon the places. You can't see the temperature throughout the oceans. All the oceans may be same. Students, now we will study different type of oceans. So the first one is, students, the Pacific Ocean. The first one is, students, the Pacific Ocean. Students, it is the deepest ocean. Yes, it's true, it is the deepest ocean. It was named by a Magellan. Magellan was a voyager, you can say, a sailor. When he was trying to sail around the world and found the water body very peaceful. It is also the largest ocean and covers nearly 1/3 of the total area of the earth. It covers 1/3 of the total area of the earth. It is very large, and which is more than all the land surfaces get together. Means it is much bigger than the land surface of all the, means 71%. One third. What will it be? It will be more than 20%. So it is equivalent to all the land surfaces if combinedly taken together. Then students, the next is Atlantic Ocean. It separates Europe and Africa from North and South America. Students, the Atlantic Ocean separates Europe and Asia from North America and South America. It's the busiest ocean as it has very vast coastline and lies between the continents that carry a lot of trade. Means trade activities always can be seen in the Atlantic Ocean. It is therefore called the busiest ocean. Second was the third one is, friends, the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is the only ocean in the world named after a country, that is India. You know, friends, it is the third largest ocean in the world. It is bounded on the north by Asia, on the west by Africa, on the east by the Malay Peninsula, and Australia on the south by Antarctica. And in the south by Antarctica, it is covered by land masses from all the sides. Then students, it is the Arctic. The third one is Antarctic. Five oceans are there, students. The fourth one is the Arctic. The Arctic Ocean is the smallest and surrounds the North Pole. It is completely surrounded by Eurasia and North America. Students, Eurasia, Europe and Asia kept together, and North America. The ocean is largely covered by sea throughout the year. It is most of the time frozen. The last one is the Antarctic Ocean, or Southern Ocean. It completely surrounds Antarctica. The Arctic Ocean surrounds North Pole. The Antarctic Ocean surrounds the Antarctica. It is the fourth largest ocean. It is also known as the Southern Ocean. Okay. Students, the last sphere in this series is atmosphere. Students, what is atmosphere? A layer of air that surrounds the earth from all the sides is called the atmosphere. It is held in place by the earth's gravitational pull. The air is denser near the earth, and as one moves away from the earth, the density of the air decreases. The amount of oxygen also reduces, as oxygen is a heavy gas. That is why it becomes difficult when we go upper. And mountains have to carry oxygen cylinders with them when they climb high altitudes. Mountaineers, have you seen? When you go up and up, especially in hill stations, I am not saying that the amount of oxygen is very low there, but the presence is very low as compared to the plain areas. We cannot see the atmosphere, but we cannot live without it. Along with water, air is one of the most important elements on our earth. It's a very important constituent of Earth that supports life on the planet. Its main components are, students, main components of air are, first one is nitrogen, oxygen, nitrogen 71%, then oxygen 28%. These are the two major gases, and the rest being carbon dioxide and other gases, argon and other gases. Students, now we will study what is the structure. Is the structure all about the same? No, it differs. There are 5 types of structures. Then there are 5 layers, students. The first one is student, the atmosphere is divided into following five layers based on their composition, temperature, height, and other different properties. The first one is troposphere. Troposphere. It is the lowest layer of the atmosphere. Students, troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere, closest to the Earth's surface. It extends up to 18 km, up to 18 km from the sea level. It's the troposphere. Then all other phenomena, just imagine 18 km from the level, from the bottom to the sky. All other phenomena occur in the layer. Aircrafts also fly, means aeroplanes also fly between the atmosphere and the earth. So it is a gap of 18 kilometers. Then students, second is stratosphere. Stratosphere. This layer is above the troposphere and free from clouds and other weather phenomena, because clouds also don't remain there. Ozone gas, which protects us from ultraviolet radiations, is present in this layer. Friends, its facility is the presence of ozone layer. Okay. Then it is also called ozonosphere. Due to the presence of ozone, it is also called ozonosphere. Okay. Then the third one is the mesosphere. Friends, this layer stretches from 50 km to 80 km. Friends, the most important one, 50 km to 80 km. Okay. Then it is here that rocks entering the atmosphere, meteorites burn up. Friends, when the meteorites, asteroids, they came here, they burn up at this level. The fourth one is, friends, ionosphere. Ionosphere. So what happens here? It is present above the mesosphere and contains electrically charged ions. These ions reflect radio waves to the earth. Next, students, the fifth one is the layer is the exosphere. I have written here exosphere. So what happens there? Students, it is the uppermost layer of the earth. It is more than 1000 km thick. Students, just imagine 1000 km thick. Thickness means motapa. Scientists have not been able to collect many details about it because it is so thick, it is so higher than the scientists have also not able to detect it and know about the details. Students, then our next subtopic is insulation. So what happens in insulation? What is insulation? The sun is the surface, friends, the sun is the source of heat and light for the entire solar system. Insolation is the incoming solar radiation received by the earth. The sun's rays, the heat from the earth and the air above the earth is in turn heated by the heated surface of the earth. Therefore, the air is warmer and it is warmer nearer the earth, and its temperature decreases with the increasing altitude. The polar regions are much colder than the equatorial regions, as they receive less insolation, less sunlight, because when the earth is tilted, they get less sunlight. Even one pole gets more sunlight at a single time. The tropical region in which India lies remains warm for most of the part of the year, as it receives direct rays of the sun. Students, it is true that the part of the earth which receives direct rays of the sun, it is hotter than the other part of the area. Students, then the last subtopic here is biosphere, the most important one. What is biosphere? We can understand this by, I will draw a diagram here. Then, friends, just look. If this is okay, friends, just remember, if this is atmosphere, I am writing here in short. If this is hydrosphere, and this is lithosphere. Students, the common area, this one is the common area. So, due to the less availability of space, I am writing it. This is called the biosphere. So, biosphere, what is biosphere? It is a zone of contact between water, air, and land. I can write it, students. It is a zone of contact. It is a zone of contact between water, land, and air. It is a zone of contact between water, land, and air. It's a narrow belt along the Earth's surface to which the entire life on Earth is confined and is not even 10 km in height. A part of it is below land and part of it is above the surface of the Earth. Land exists better where all the three, that is the air, water, and land, if you will compare. An ideal example is the coastal regions and the river valleys. There are plenty of plants and animals there. Some live in water, some live in land. So that's a best example of the coastal areas, where some animals live in water and some in land. Then students, next is the recent increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. That is, we will study about the global warming here. We are talking about. Is referred to as the global warming. The steady increase in Earth's temperature day by day is called the global warming. It has many effects on both the environment and the human beings and is attributed mainly to increasing levels of greenhouse the greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide in air. With increased industrialization, what has led to the global warming, to the poisonous gases? The increased industrialization and growth in the number of vehicles, carbon dioxide levels in the Earth's atmosphere are rising at an alarming rate. We can see the air pollution is increasing day by day. Delhi is one of the best examples. Sometimes the administration of Delhi allows the odd even culture to run the vehicles due to high pollution. This rise in average temperature could play havoc with the weather cycles on Earth. It is leading to decreasing snow cover and rising sea level, which further leads to flooding of coastal areas. The melting of glaciers are a matter of concern this time. Frequent flooding of densely populated areas would be a big liability for any nation, requiring massive sums of money for rehabilitation of the affected population. Students, global warming is an alarming concern for all human beings on Earth because it has turned the temperature, the mercury level high. It will also have an effect, the global warming have an effect on the ecosystem and in the biosphere also. It is still having its effect. There could be certain species which could face extinction. Extinction means, friends, totally they will be out. So we can't see that animal or species on Earth due to this type of bad effects, evil effects of global warming. Then we can't see their habitats also. They will be in danger. So students, this the topic was all about the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. We have studied in lithosphere, we have studied different types of continents, In hydrosphere, we have studied the different types of oceans. In atmosphere, the different types of levels of atmosphere. 5 levels are there at the end. Avoid insulation and biosphere. So students, this was the topic all about. By saying this, I bid say goodbye to all of you. I hope you would have understood the chapter very well. So students, please stay home, stay safe. Goodbye and have a nice day.